How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Football Fan Forever, and this is your New York Jets franchise on Madden 20. It's time for the preseason highlight video. We had a very active off-season period, both in free agency and the draft, so it's time to take a look at some of the key moments from this year's preseason games. This video will jump around a bit. I'll be showing highlights and key plays and players from the 4 preseason games, as there are a few key position battles going into year 3, probably the most important being the quarterback position. Sam Darnold has been the starter for most of the series, but he's playing for a contract and a job, as we declined his 5th-year option in the offseason, and here on the first play of preseason from scrimmage, he throws a pick to Adoree Jackson. That's a difficult throw, but one you want your franchise quarterback to be able to make, and Sam Darnold just hasn't been very consistent in his time with the Jets. It's possible he moves on if he doesn't win the starting job. But speaking of starting job, Willie Sparks is going to be our #1 running back. He did miss a chunk of time last year due to injury, but he's got people like Tyree Phillips and rookie Benjamin Burks blocking for him now. So I think we'll have a lot more success in the running game than we did last year behind Colton Mikovits and Connor McGovern. There may be 2 new starters on the offensive line, but the top 3 receivers from last year for the Jets all return. There's Kaderil Hodge making a nice grab out of the slot. You see Hodge in the slot on many of these drives, and Jameson Crowder lining up outside. And the veteran Ryan Griffin making a catch. He's still a tight end too. He's getting older. I don't know how many more years he'll have left with this team, but there he makes a nice grab. Seems like he was always open. And then first and goal from the 3, Willie Sparks finishes off with a short touchdown run. And Perryman covers him for the 3 count. A little bit of a fast count from Calvin there, but the Jets do take the lead, 7-3. Not a bad bounce back drive from the offense. And how about the defense? How are they doing? Well, Derrick Henry is usually difficult to stop. He ran all over us in year 2, but Quinnen Williams makes the stop there behind the line to set up a 3rd and 18. Ryan Tannehill still the starting quarterback for Tennessee, as there's Stephen Donnelly, the starting strong safety, making a great play on the ball. He's going to get the opportunity to start this year with Bradley McDougald leaving in free agency. The 3rd possession for the offense. Darnold is still in the game as he is the incumbent starter at this point. Play action, pressure in his face, fires deep downfield, and there's Jameson Crowder, the leading receiver for the Jets. He's in mid-season form already. Darnold finds him downfield. That was a great throw and an even better catch. Gives the Jets excellent field position here, and there's another strike to Ryan Griffin. He's inside the 10 down to the 5. Darnold, after his interception, settled down and looked pretty good. He was 6 of 8 for over 100 yards. And then 2 plays later to the end zone, Christopher Herndon with the grab. He had a big preseason, as the first team offense puts up 14 points in the first quarter here. And our starting defense did well also. Here's James Delgado welcoming Ryan Tannehill into the new year with a sack back at the 48. And then it was backups from there on out. LaMarcus Albert taking his first pass attempt, 3rd and 16. He came in the middle of the drive. He's taking an aggressive shot to rookie Sean Holloway, and that's knocked away. Good play on the ball there. And then it was time to take a look at some of the depth players on defense for the Jets. Here's Kel Kohler making a nice play on the ball. Philip Walker started 7 of 8. And Kohler, he's normally a starter for us, but we didn't have a whole lot of middle linebackers, so he ended up playing a lot of the preseason. Back to offense, there's Anthony McFarland with a nice run. Good push from that interior line, as LaMarcus Albert spearheaded an attack that was mostly forced to the ground, but here he is, play action, taking a look downfield, finding the veteran receiver Chris Hogan for a gain of 17. I like what the offense was able to do with LaMarcus Albert under center. Here's a tough throw under pressure. He finds Sean Holloway underneath. That's an excellent throw, as LaMarcus Albert isn't known for his arm as much as he's known for his legs. Facing a 3rd and 10. He's just off the mark looking for Lawrence Cager, trying to lead him inside, and he's lucky that wasn't intercepted. New York up to a 17-9 lead here with less than a minute to go in the second quarter. A deep shot by Walker, and Blasson Austin gets mossed, a gain of 50. That was an impressive play, as Tennessee still doesn't manage to score on that drive. We head to the third quarter with the score still 17-9. Here's an excellent run stop. Blake Cashman, he's a rangy middle linebacker, and he's been behind C.J. Mosley and Kel Kohler on the depth chart. But we might see more of him with Mosley getting up there in age. And on 3rd and 1, there's undrafted rookie Trey Groves trying to make the team as an outside linebacker. We go back to the backups on offense. Here's LaMarcus Albert. And a nice throw over the middle, but Eugene Hilbert lost the football. The rookie putting it on the ground. That was just a huge hit over the middle. Welcome to the NFL, Eugene Hilbert. That gives Tennessee some pretty good field position. Walker is out of the shotgun on this 2nd and 8. 4-man rush all day for Walker. He'll take a deep shot, and Marion Marioff hauls it in, one of our 2 first-round picks. He makes a great play to haul that one in, an interception in the end zone. He will probably be the starting free safety for us this year, so I wanted to see him on the field as much as possible. As LaMarcus Albert takes over, firing on the move. There's Boston Scott, a gain of 35. You know, Albert doesn't have the best arm, but he is a playmaker. You combine his athleticism with the fact that he's pretty good at throwing on the run, and he can make some plays. I really like that one. That was one of my favorite plays he made. And later, 2nd and a long goal. There's a throw to Lawrence Cager, preseason darling last year. He'll haul in the touchdown for a 24-9 New York lead. We're into the 4th quarter now. Walker's thrown 1 pick already, sets his feet and fires to the left side. There's Quincy Wilson. He's the number 4 corner on our depth chart. He's behind Levi Wallace, Marshawn Lattimore, and Blasson Austin, but he had a pick 6 last preseason, and he takes this one to the house as well. That's one way to get noticed by the coaching staff. So I was honestly impressed with how Quincy Wilson played. Here's more cover 2. He's in the slot, and again he makes a play on the ball, knocking that one away from the receiver. I really like what I saw from both Quincy Wilson and Blake Cashman with these second-team defensive players. And how about another rookie, Rakeem Winston, defensive tackle. We took him in the 3rd round. He reminds me a little bit of Aaron Donald. He gets the sack there. And after Tennessee gets a touchdown, they try and go for 2. And Winston hauls down Walker on the quarterback run to keep it a 16-point game. Not a lot of time left in the 4th quarter in this one, but I still wanted to take a look at rookie quarterback Harry Arrieta. He's a 2nd-round pick with hidden development, and while he is 24 years old, he's got one of the better arms on the team. There he makes a nice throw to the veteran tight end Ryan Griffin, and then very next play, sidesteps away from the pressure, fires downfield to fellow rookie Shane Holloway, and started 3 of 3 for 46 yards. On 2nd and goal, Arrieta with time, looking over the middle, and that's caught by Eugene Hilbert for the score. Rookie-to-rookie connection, as this is a nice toe-tapping grab by Hilbert. All in all, it was a really solid first game of the preseason. We end up winning 38-15. Just one more highlight left as Rakeem Winston is back for more. His 2nd sack of the day. He had an excellent day against the backup offensive line there. As we head into the 2nd game, I'm feeling pretty confident about how this team is looking. I thought Stephen Donnelly played well. Sam Darnold, outside the early interception, looked pretty comfortable. And LaMarcus Albert also moved the ball a lot more effectively than I expected. I was very impressed with how he played and how he ran the 2nd-team offense. So, in our 2nd game, with the starters getting 2 quarters against Green Bay, I decided that I would split quarterback reps and see how LaMarcus Albert did with the first-team offense. Meanwhile, the first-team defense, there's Caleb Von Chazen and James Delgado stopping Green Bay on 3rd down. Darnold does get the start here and faces a early 2nd and 5, drifting back in the pocket, firing downfield for Christopher Herndon. That's a gain of 13. We do end up punting the ball away. Green Bay moved the ball pretty well down the field through the air. Here they set up a screen, but Blake Cashman getting some reps in the nickel look is all over that one and holds Green Bay to a field goal. Just a minute and a half left to go in the first quarter, so Darnold is still in. There's another excellent throw. Christopher Herndon is such a reliable target, and that's a good throw by Darnold. He's got to prove that he's the starting quarterback here in New York, and those are the kinds of throws he's going to have to make. But a couple plays later, disaster strikes. A strip sack fumble returned for a touchdown. Green Bay goes up 10-0 as the turnover problems continue for Sam Darnold. Just 40 seconds left here in the first quarter, so Darnold running out of time. He fires over the middle. There's Rashad Perryman with the catch at the 39. And Perryman is shaken up, and he'll be checked out in the locker room. We'll get an update on his injury after today's game, but he's done for the day and possibly for even longer than that. Darnold still in the game, 34 seconds, rolling to his right, had a wide open Herndon and missed him. Let's try this again, 2nd down. Green Bay showing double-A gap pressure. They bring pressure, and Darnold feeling the rush off the mark for Jamison Crowder. That would end Darnold's day as we're on to the second quarter. Starters are still out there, and our defense still playing pretty well. There's Marion Mariov coming down from his free safety position. And then it's on to LaMarcus Albert to see how he can do with the first team offense. Here's a run to Willie Sparks, hurdles and loses the football. It was a strong choice, wrong choice from the second-year running back. He couldn't make the safety miss, and it's another turnover for the Jets. This one gives Green Bay excellent field position and a chance to add on to their 2-score lead. Play action for Rodgers. Very next play, I should add, finds Adams, who breaks Mariov's tackle and takes it in 37 yards for the score. Green Bay up 17-0. So not really the start you're hoping for if you're New York, but then LaMarcus Albert just started getting into a groove. Here's read option. He probably could have juked inside and taken this 1 for 6, but as it is, it's a really solid gain and really shows what he can do with his mobility. On the next play, handoff to Willie Sparks, who holds on to the ball this time. We're suddenly in Green Bay territory. 1st and 10 from the 37. This is a new formation. Boston Scott off play action. LaMarcus Albert looking deep. He finds Kadero Hodge for a 37-yard score. I think that was my favorite play of the preseason. The play action, the roll to the left to evade the pressure, and firing it down the field, which is where LaMarcus Albert does struggle with his accuracy. Just a perfect throw, finding Hodge to put 7 on the board for the Jets. Still plenty of time in the second quarter, and our first-string defense looked pretty solid. There's Quinnen Williams on the run, stopped for no gain. Very next play, Rodgers is under center. Hard count, no one jumps except for me. And Eric Armstead, who has a really solid preseason here for the Jets, makes the play there. We get the ball back with just under 7 minutes to go. LaMarcus Albert is still in the game. He rolls to his left to avoid pressure, fires downfield, and there's another catch for Ryan Griffin. Albert 2 of 2 for 57 yards and a score in the second quarter. Facing a 2nd and 11, we hit the 5-minute mark. Albert, feeling the pressure, bounces off a would-be tackler, and then he'll take off. It's sliding down after a gain of 11. I honestly expected him to be brought down on this. I did not read the right hole at all. I should have gone to the right side. But he just stiff arms away the interior rusher and has the speed to get the first down. How about a Greg Zuerlein highlight from 60 yards? Puts it through the uprights. New York has scored 10 points in the second quarter thanks to the uprights there. But can the defense get a stop here? A minute and a half to go in the second quarter. Looking to the left side, that's knocked away. Lattimore on Devontae Adams. We get the ball back with just over a minute to go in the second quarter. LaMarcus Albert in the shotgun. He's got time, firing downfield. Lawrence Cager with the catch. There's a flag on the play. He's across midfield. with a defender draped all over him. This is defensive pass interference. It is declined, and the Jets are on the edge of Greg Zuerlein range, facing a 3rd and 1. Marcus Alberts well off the mark. He had Hogan wide open over the middle, and the offense stays on the field for 4th down. Press coverage on the left side, and LaMarcus Albert looks to the right. Kadero Hodge breaking a tackle down to the 25. Crowder did get off his jam, but Albert was looking to the right where there wasn't press coverage. 1st and 10. Time for LaMarcus Albert. He fires upfield. There's Jameson Crowder inside the 10 down to the 9. New York calling their last time out with 13 seconds to go. Bunch formation to the right, as well as Willie Sparks out to the right as well. Jameson Crowder isolated left. Blitz is brought, and Albert counters with a touchdown. Christopher Herndon again in the red zone. He's been such a reliable target inside the red zone for the Jets. So 17 second quarter points for New York. They sent out Harry Arrieta in the 3rd quarter, and he just missed that throw to Eugene Hilbert. New York has to punt it away, and Green Bay drives down the field. Here's a 2nd and goal from the 12. 4-man rush. Time for the quarterback. He fires the end zone, and Marion Marioff has another. His 2nd interception of the preseason. He comes away with one there. He's getting extended playing time even with the backups, and he really stood out in the back end for the Jets. He was just all over the field making plays. I think we've got a star in the making. Harry Arrieta trying to extend this play, sets his feet, fires downfield, and the catch is made at the 17. That 2nd-year wide receiver Harvey Addison on the grab there. He spent all of last year on the practice squad and is trying to make the active roster this year as Arrieta on the mark to Sean Holloway to make it 1st and goal. After taking a sack, it's 2nd and goal from the 14. Arrieta with time, drifting left in the pocket, firing for Hilbert, who makes the grab inside the 5, down at the 2, and Eugene Hilbert is shaken up, and he would gingerly walk off the field for the Jets. Another wide receiver going down with a potential long-term injury, as we'll get an update on his injury after the game. 3rd and goal from the 2. Can Arrieta give the Jets the lead? Looking to Griffin, and it's dropped. Ryan Griffin had an excellent preseason, but those are the kinds of grabs you need to make. Uncontested in the end zone for the lead. The Jets have to settle. But the 2nd-string defense, Blake Cashman, was just all over the field. He's making plays against the run. Here he's in on a sack. I was very impressed with his work, and I think we'll see more of him in nickel packages this season. We get the ball back to the offense. Here's Arrieta looking downfield. There's Ryan Griffin tackled at the 28. Arrieta over 100 yards on that pass. He looked comfortable in this game. Play action. Down he goes again. Right tackle Tony Jackson is a rookie, and he really struggled in pass protection this preseason. 2nd and 19 after the sack. Arrieta back to pass. Again, pressure incoming from that right side, firing it downfield, and Arrieta is intercepted. He was looking for Boston Scott, but the linebacker is able to make a play, and it's Jackson that has to bring down Hewitt, who is shaken up on the tackle as well. There were a lot of injuries in this 2nd preseason game, as the interception gives Green Bay a chance to take the lead. 3rd and 12, looking up the right side. You got behind Xavier McKinney for the touchdown. McKinney was a safety for us last year. I converted him to cornerback just to see how he would do there, and he didn't have a great preseason by any means, as he gives up the touchdown there. Arrieta sacked again off the right side. There's a lot of pressure coming from the right side, no matter who is out there. We just struggled to contain that edge. So something to keep an eye on as we head into the regular season. But we were able to get some pressure as well. Here's Bryce Huff getting to the quarterback there, dropping him at the 18-yard line. He's looking to make the roster behind James Delgado on that left outside linebacker position, and that will give Harry Arrieta the ball back just around the 2-minute warning. There's an excellent throw. His best stat is medium accuracy, and he finds Ryan Griffin on the corner route. But we're inside 2 minutes now. Very next play. Arrieta well protected. He's got time. Now under pressure. Fires to the left side. And an acrobatic one-handed interception. to give Green Bay the ball back, and that will end this game. They're able to get the first downs they needed. Victory formation for Boyle and the Packers, and we get more bad news. Rashad Perryman and Eugene Hilbert are each going to miss 8 weeks with injuries. So we sign Steven Sims Jr. from free agency to try and fill the role of deep threat. He's got pretty good release. It's already best on the team. Decent route running, some decent hands, and good deep speed. So we'll see what kind of role he's able to carve out, as Jamison Crowder and Kadarrell Hodge will be our starting 2 wide receivers going forward. In Game 3, we travel to Jerry World, and there's Nate Shepard on the stop. And on offense, I decided to give LaMarcus Albert the start. With the injury to Rashad Perryman, that takes away our main deep threat. Yes, Steven Sims and Jamison Crowder can still stretch the field to some extent, but we don't have a true burner on the roster, and I don't feel like a lot of our success comes from, 30 and 40-yard passing plays. We're more about the running game and then finding short and intermediate routes, which is where LaMarcus Albert has less weaknesses throwing the ball. So if I can have a dual threat quarterback that can bring another element to the ground game, combined with someone who can make most of the short and intermediate throws, we could have a lot of success on offense, and at the very least keep our defense off the field for the majority of the games, which isn't exactly my main concern. I thought our first string defense played really well. Here's Marion Mariov, our starting free safety, making another play on the ball. He was just all over the place in pass coverage, and it was so nice to see him catching up to plays that I felt like Marcus May was a step behind last year. Eric Armstead led the charge at a ferocious rush defense in this game. I'm hoping this team can develop a strong identity on both sides of the ball this year. I want to be a run-first approach, that's for sure, and I feel like we finally have the interior offensive line to make that work. We're throwing a lot in the preseason, but that's mostly because I want to see what the quarterbacks are capable of. And take a look at this throw from LaMarcus Albert, an absolute dime down the field on the run with pressure in his face, 26 yards to the newcomer Steven Sims. I don't want to have to rely on those kinds of passes, but they are nice when they work out. That's for sure. Here's a 2nd and 5. Albert escaping the pocket, and he just got space and plenty of room to run. He is a playmaker, but he's also still kind of raw. He's only had 1 year to develop, and he wasn't the best passer in his rookie season. So success with LaMarcus Albert means avoiding 3rd and longs like this one. He's got single coverage and a decent route by Hodge, but just overthrows him a bit. That's a red zone turnover, and those are the ones especially you want to avoid because those cost you points. On the other side of the ball, we're in the 2nd quarter here, and our rush defense was just ferocious. The Cowboys' offensive line isn't what it used to be, but 10 carries and 2 yards for Zeke is a dominant effort no matter who's in front of him. LaMarcus Albert's still in the game as we are right around the 3.5-minute mark in the 2nd quarter. Under pressure, he fires downfield. There's Ryan Griffin at the 42-yard line. I thought Albert made a lot of the throws that I expected him to make, and a few of the ones I didn't. He's still kind of raw as a passer, but he's much improved from this time last year. Just take a look at the preseason highlight video going into year 2. 3rd and 5 from the 7. New York clinging to a 7-3 lead just before a 2-minute warning, and the unblocked defender gets through. That was a bad blitz pickup by the offensive line. Leighton Vander Esch gets through, and New York has to settle for 3. Just 20 seconds left to go in the first half. Prescott, everyone covered downfield, and Eric Armstead comes through for the sack. We're into the 3rd quarter. Starters are still in as this is the 3rd preseason game, and Armstead is still taking over the ball game. Zeke just couldn't get anything going, and Eric Armstead just completely owned this Cowboys offensive line. Sam Darnold is in the game for the Jets, trying to save his job, as LaMarcus Albert has impressed me enough to consider naming him the starter. Then Darnold started going off. Makes a nice throw play action there, and then to the left sideline, Jamison Crowder with another one of his toe-tapping catches. Darnold starts 4 of 4 through the air. on a 1st and 15. Blitz is brought. He's got time. Firing down the field. Jamison Crowder with an excellent catch in traffic. That's just trusting your wide receiver there. And he makes the play. 1st and goal, New York from the 6. More play action for Darnold. He's got time. Firing on the run to the end zone. Christopher Herndon with another touchdown catch. That was about as good of a look as you can ask for Sam Darnold. He made all kinds of throws on that drive and puts the Jets up by 11. Our pass coverage has certainly improved, and our pass rush is bound to get there eventually. There's James Delgado bringing down Dak Prescott back at the 17. 3rd and 5. One play later. Prescott back to pass. And he goes down again. This time it's Quinion Williams bringing down Dak Prescott. And it's Sam Darnold for the rest of the 3rd quarter here. Time winding down. Play action all day for Darnold. Firing short. There's Kadarius Hodge with an athletic grab. Still going. And he's finally taken down. The flag on the play is defensive pass interference. So that will stand. Time continuing to run down in the 3rd quarter. Darnold only getting 1 quarter of work in this game, but again, he just looked really solid. Look at this throw off the double move to Jamison Crowder, who nearly scores. Gets down to the 3-yard line. New York with time for one more play. Trying to figure out if Crowder is good in the red zone. He's a little bit short, and this ball is in the right place, but so is the defender. Sam Darnold's interception in the 3rd quarter is not one I would pin on him. Into the 4th quarter we go. It's number 14 slinging the rock for the Cowboys. And no, it's not Andy Dalton. That is 2nd-year quarterback Brendan Jones out of UNLV. The Cowboys took him in the 3rd round of last year's draft, and he got to throw the ball a lot. Here with 8 in coverage, looking over the middle, there's another play made by Blake Cashman. But Jones able to march the Cowboys down the field. Here's 3rd and goal from the 4. Play action. Time for Jones, and he's picked off. C.J. Mosley is somehow still in the game. I think we just ran out of middle linebackers, so they subbed him in because of fatigue. And he takes it 100 yards to the house. A pick 6 for the veteran linebacker. He's ready to play. You just can't keep him off the field. Extends our lead to 24-6 with just over 6 minutes to go. Harry Arrieta in the game. Off play action, that's one of his strengths. Looking downfield, Holloway had 6 and couldn't hang on. A missed opportunity for the rookie receiver there. And Dallas gets the ball back. Under 2 minutes to go. There's a nice throw from Brendan Jones. No pick 6 this time as he finds his tight end for the touchdown to cut our lead to 14 points. But we're not done throwing the ball just yet. We want to see what Harry Arrieta can do under pressure. He took a hit for this one, delivers to Holloway down to the 5, a 23-yard connection to the rookie 5th round pick. Facing a 3rd and goal. Out of the bunch pistol formation, play action, time for Arrieta. Looking to the end zone, and this one is off the mark. That's picked off, and this is an interception return up the left sideline. Tremaine Ankrum, one finally knocking him out of bounds. And there was just one more scoring play with 7 seconds left. Brendan Jones from 16 yards up the seam to find his wide receiver in the end zone for a score. Final score in Game 3, 27-20 in favor of the Jets. The 4th and final preseason game saw just 1 quarter of action for the starters, and it was a tough test against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Eric Armstead makes his presence felt quite early on with a sack off of play action. But the very next play, it's Patrick Mahomes doing what he does best, dropping back from his own 38-yard line with a perfect throw over the middle, finding Ricky Seals-Jones to the 34-yard line. I knew this would be a difficult test for our defense, namely our pass defense, because every time you've got someone like Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball, it's going to be a stiff challenge. But on 3rd and 2, Marion Mariob with his 3rd end zone interception of the preseason. I am really impressed. I think we've got a bona fide playmaker on our hands, and I'm so excited to see what he can do with a full season of work. Wow. On the offensive side of the ball, Marcus Albert got the start. Here he is standing on his own 3-yard line. Out of the pistol, he's got time and will take off and run. Maybe could have thrown the ball downfield, but he picks up 10 yards on the scramble. And I'm leaning towards giving Albert the start in regular season. He's far from perfect, but I think he brings a multi-dimensional aspect to our offense that Sam Darnold doesn't, and I'd rather have erratic and mobile and able to extend and make plays with your legs than erratic and less mobile like Sam Darnold is. We've added some new wrinkles to the playbook. Here's Willie Sparks on a halfback swing that goes for a chunk of yardage. As this first quarter only saw 2 offensive drives, 1 from each team. It was a very quick quarter as far as that was concerned. And there's an excellent throw from Albert to Hodge. And the Jets will go hurry up here, trying to get a couple more plays off before the end of the first quarter and before the starters come out. Jamison Crowder on the slant. He's taken down at the 13-yard line. Jets take a timeout to preserve a little bit of time. One more play with the first team offense, maybe taking a shot at the end zone here. Trips to the right. Albert pulls the trigger, and that was nearly intercepted. The ball coming out just a little bit late, looking for Steven Sims. And that will do it for the starters for the preseason. New York up 3-0. And we had 3 quarters to evaluate the backups in this game. And an early sack, that's John Franklin Myers. He's one of the rotational ends that's trying to get a roster spot here. And I thought he played pretty well. He's got a nice combination of size and speed. And he uses that to quite the advantage. As CJ Mosley is still somehow on the field. He snuck on in a 3-3-5 formation, forces a fumble, and returns it. So his second defensive touchdown of the season gives the Jets a 10-0 lead. The backup quarterback for the Chiefs is rookie Tyrone Bushrod, southpaw, and here he completes to right tackle Alex Shaughnessy, who's getting snaps at tight end. As Bushrod carved up this second-string pass defense, we had a hard time stopping him through the air. Thankfully, there's Rakeem Winston around the edge getting some snaps at left end. He makes a play against the run there, and Kansas City is forced to kick a field goal. Sam Darnold getting second-team reps and taking a shot down the field, and the double coverage intended for Harvey Addison picked off by the Chiefs. That's not an interception you can pin on Darnold. It probably wasn't the best read, but again, we're testing receivers as much as we are quarterbacks, and Addison just didn't stand out to me. But here's a great play. Blake Cashman flashing the range to make the stop on the screen. He traveled all the way from the hash marks on one side of the screen to the other. Make a nice play on 3rd down. And then on 2nd and 2, a nice throw. That catch is hauled in. Sean Holloway with another grab. He had an up and down preseason, but I think he's earned at least a practice squad spot. He was a 5th-round pick, so we're not expecting a whole lot from him. And you can't ask him to catch those kinds of throws. At this point, I think that LaMarcus Albert will be the starting quarterback in Week 1, and he'll get a chance to show what he can do for a couple of games, and we'll reevaluate as we're going along. I think Sam Darnold is an okay quarterback, but we know what he can do, and he hasn't shown significant progress that would make me want to start him over the more athletic LaMarcus Albert. I think given that Brashad Perryman is hurt, and we don't really have any other deep threats on the team, that this won't be a team that relies a whole lot on stretching the field. And that's the one area where Sam Darnold can probably play a lot better than LaMarcus Albert is deep throws. But if we're just doing short and intermediate stuff and need to rely on our run game in order to move the football, I know that LaMarcus Albert can work in that system and that he's going to be able to contribute both as a passer and a runner. On the defensive side of the ball, I don't think there are too many surprises. What did surprise me in this game was how poorly we played against the likes of Tyrone Bushrod. Our pass defense got absolutely chewed up. He completed 21 of 22 passes, and we still have another quarter plus of work to do. He just is on a roll. He wasn't really airing the ball out, but all of his passes were accurate, and he's 57 overall. Here he finds the right tackle, Shaughnessy, for a touchdown. It was kind of an embarrassing defensive effort from the backups. I put in Harry Arrieta in the third quarter, later on in the third quarter here. Wanted to see what he could do, and he was well off the mark for this third down throw. Pressure in his face, and couldn't lead the receiver well on the right sideline. So we have to kick it back to Kansas City, and on 3rd and 1, some coverage gets bungled, and Ricky Seals-Jones goes 70 yards for the touchdown to give Kansas City the lead here. Bushrod just tore us apart. He had over 300 yards passing in this game. Meanwhile, Harry Arrieta just did not look that accurate, but he did make a nice throw here. There's Harvey Addison on the grab, 29 yards. Addison does have plenty of speed, but his route running and his hands are questionable. So he'll probably be a practice squad player again this year, and we'll see if he can develop further. Meanwhile, Harry Arrieta kind of convinced me with this performance that he's not ready to even really be a backup in the league just yet. That's okay. Doesn't have to be. He's behind Sam Darnold and LaMarcus Albert on the depth chart. Meanwhile, Tyrone Bushrod, 26 of 28, 297 yards and 2 scores. He looked more Patrick Mahomes than Mahomes did in this one. It was insane. In the game to finish this one off, this is Edward Arnold. He finds Sean Holloway for 34 yards. Arnold is a practice squad arm. He's got pretty good mobility and okay short accuracy, but he doesn't have the strongest arm, and he's not that accurate. Looking for Addison there on 4th and goal. It doesn't work. And we get the ball back one more time. Can Arnold drive us downfield and get a touchdown? There's a nice throw. Good start to the drive over the middle. He finds Sean Holloway. He definitely distinguished himself amongst these backup wide receivers. I tend to look for the slot receiver quite a bit in our offense because they tend to go over the middle of the screen, and he looked pretty good when he was given the opportunity to make plays. On 2nd and 10, firing over the middle, Lawrence Cager with the grab to the 50. As the Jets try to complete the comeback with their 4th string quarterback in the game. Ryan Griffin lined up slot right. He gets a good route wide open, and Arnold misses him. 4th and 19. Same formation. Lawrence Cager lined up slot right. Harvey Addison wide left. Arnold with McFarland in to protect. This for the game. Arnold gets the pass off, firing downfield, and Cager is drilled. Tyrann Mathieu is somehow on the field. That will end our preseason with a 21-17 defeat by the Chiefs. As here are the stats for the preseason themselves. Don't read too much into the completion percentages, as some of it was just me trying to figure out what plays the receivers could make. But LaMarcus Albert ended up being our leading rusher. Even though we split carries pretty well. Anthony McFarland really distinguished himself as our number 2 back, so I'm excited to see what he can do next to Willie Sparks. Sean Holloway, Kaderil Hodge, and Ryan Griffin all had excellent preseasons. Jameson Crowder also had 155 yards receiving. Christopher Herndon was a red zone target, and I think he'll get a lot of touchdowns this season because he's just always open in the red zone. I love looking his direction in the red zone. Pass protection was decent. Tony Jackson struggled, but outside of that, I think our offensive line played well, especially the starters. It's a much stronger interior offensive line with Tyree Phillips and Benjamin Burks, so I'm very excited to see how we can run the ball more effectively. On the defensive side of the ball, Eric Armstead showed up, as did Blake Cashman. Rakeem Winston is going to be taking snaps at left end. I'd like to get him on the field in some sub packages. And I'm really excited to see how Marin Marriott plays with a full season. He really showed up. He played a lot this preseason, but 3 interceptions. And we'll see how Stephen Donnelly holds up at the other safety position. He's someone who I think has played above his ratings, but I don't know if his weaknesses will be exposed over the course of an NFL season. Our special teams battery will be the same as last year. Boston Scott will handle kick and punt return duties. I've got no issues there. And here are the final roster moves that we make. A couple of players being released and a few being signed to the practice squad, including Sean Holloway. That was probably the only surprise there. I am so excited for what this team is going to be able to do in year 3. I don't think we have a particularly difficult schedule, and we've got young playmakers on both sides of the ball that I think are ready to lead this New York Jets team to the playoffs. That's all for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the preseason, who you want to see get more playing time in the regular season, and who you think our starting quarterback should be. Have a good one, everybody, and like always, I will catch you next time.